Okay, we've got a low performance call here. The customer says that when he has it set on 70, it won't get below 75, and it's not really even hot yet. So let's see what we can do here. All right, so the thermostat was calling air temp. Okay, I think this is a Nordyne product if I'm not mistaken. 2-ton. So it should be on and it's not, so let's try to figure that out. All right, so the contactor is in and we're able to quickly determine that there is no power here. So let's go find the breaker box and see if it's tripping it or what's going on. All right, so the breaker was tripped, and then it tripped immediately when we tried to reset it. So I unhooked the compressor wires, these two and the red from the hermetic, and reset the breaker, and the fan started. So apparently we've got a compressor problem, and we're going to start checking that. And in the old days, I would always open the machine up and just make sure that you know, the terminals weren't blown or something like that. But these newer compressors, there's the focus, we have that big rubber plug that Copeland makes. It's very unlikely that you know, anything in the wiring is going to be an issue. All right, even though I said it was unlikely to have a wiring problem, take a look at this. So that definitely shorted against the metal there. Will definitely blow the breaker. There's yellow here. It's rubbed really thin. So it might pay for Nordyne to put a grommet on that. And this guy may be okay. We may actually be able to patch up this wiring and this compressor may start again. So let's look a little further into this. Stinking micro channel unit. I mean, I don't think much of the unit, but if it would have had a grommet right there, and it is kind of a rounded surface, it's not sharp. Evidently there's some vibration that took place and cut its way right into that wire. This compressor may be okay. Let's patch it up and see what we get. So when I got to looking, this was already hanging out, and this one has apparently been intentionally cut because the rest of it is missing, and it looks like it's no longer in the circuit. So as you can see, the low voltage goes through that high pressure switch, and somebody has cut that and hooked it straight to the low voltage, and they've taken this out of the picture. So somebody's already taken the high limit out, not sure why. So first I'm going to just patch this up and determine if the compressor will start back. Then we'll worry about what the deal with the high limit is and why they did that, if they did. Boy, these micro channels, I mean, this is This is no unit to be bypassing the high limit on, I can tell you that. Somebody overcharged this thing and pow, you know. So let's do a little patchwork and see where we get. All right, so like I said, I'm not going to worry about this high limit getting back into the circuit yet until I figure out if the compressor will start. So I'll just fix this black wire with a wire nut and some tape, and I tried to make a few passes there to maybe prevent it from rubbing just between now and the time we do anything further. Now if we determine this thing runs and it's okay, I'll probably just bring another harness. I've got several of these spares. We'll just bring another one of these over here and install it, and then patch these high voltage or high limit wires a little bit better. And but I want to get it up and running, look at the pressures, see what's going on with the head pressure, see if I can determine why somebody has bypassed the high pressure limit to begin with, and find out if we can save this unit and get him some more life out of it. It's looking pretty bad here at the moment, but let's see if she'll start. All right, so just gonna leave the high pressure switch out for a minute. I've hooked the compressor back up. And we're gonna see if everything will start up. And if it does, first thing I'm gonna do is put gauges on it and see what's going on here for real. Oh, some jackleg came over here and bypassed his high limit because he didn't, oh yeah, maybe didn't understand what was going on with the system, or it's pouring hot air out of the top. So it could be something as simple as being hugely overcharged or something, I don't know, but let's get our gauges and see what we can find out. All right, so I'm gonna let it run a few minutes before we jump to too many conclusions, but there you see it. So the subcooling may be just a tad high, and you know, going by our head pressure here, we're not greatly overcharged or anything. But for all I know, this thing's got a piston in the attic and actually doesn't have an expansion valve. So I'm gonna watch it a few minutes, let this thing run a few minutes. I'm gonna go look right quick and see what kind of coil or air handler or what it is. But Nordyne, cheap stuff, I bet you it's a piston. Superheat's not terrible, 13 degrees of superheat. 13 degrees of subcooling, maybe a little bit high, considering the head pressure is only at 270. And about 80 today, 78, 79, 80. I'll look again. Haven't looked in the last couple hours, but we're gonna let this thing run a little bit, talk to the customer about what we found.